Hi, this is Thomas Tang representing the Cipher Lab at UBC. In the previous video that was linked below, I presented FIVA, a dashboard tool for fixed income visual analysis. In this video, I would like to place more emphasis on a new feature, a powerful activity tracker visualization that works in conjunction with FIVA to provide analytic provenance and accountability for their analytic actions, and to facilitate the auditing of data underlying the visual interface. So let's start the applications. The first steps to provenance and accountability is identity. So a login system is crucial for this process. Here I show a password for testing purposes. Should have put freedom55, but with the financial systemic risk problem like this, I'm not exactly confident. The interface of FIVA is divided into the fixed income dashboard and the activity tracker visualization. These two components are shown on separate windows so that their screen real estate and zoom level can be adjusted independently, accommodating different hardware setups. Like for example, I have this laptop here. The fixed income analysis dashboard involves a tree map and a bullet graph visualizations, and a search bar and a filtering tool for choosing clients and accounts, and editable data fields related to the currently chosen clients and account. The tree map visualization provides a mean to monitor the performance of multiple clients at several levels. At the top level is a view of all the accounts belonging to all the clients. Zooming into one client, each client can contain more than one account. And then zooming into the currently selected account to see the various yearly performance projection for that account. The performance measure here is the cost of outstanding income for that year, although other performance measures such as the market value of the instrument in the account currently can also be applied. So an account that is performing to target is marked blue, and an underperforming account are marked red, and the size of the rectangles corresponds to the relative size of the deficit or surplus. Using visualization for portfolio monitoring is useful because this monitoring currently requires managing and examining many Excel workbooks. Each Excel workbook containing multiple worksheets. So over time, these workbooks contain a roughly standardized structure, but the important performance measurement fields would be hidden in multiple sheets, and in each of them in a slightly different spatial layout. So the analyst has to perform visual searches on tables of numbers for every single client and account that they monitor. So the initial feedbacks of the FIVA dashboard was relatively positive. The analysts at the firm we worked with thought that the tool does improve the process of portfolio monitoring. However, they identified that this is actually not their greatest workflow challenge. The analysts identify that the greatest difficulty is in keeping track of the analytic actions and the data changes associated with trying out different scenarios. So this kind of needs is reflected in the various redundant hidden columns in the Excel sheets and the redundant sheets that also show almost the same data. So these are redundant items in each workbooks that contain historical states either of a field or of a sheet. So what the analysts need is like a combination of data version control and analytic provenance, and the activity tracker visualization is designed to provide just that. The activity tracker is integrated into the backend of FIVA so that every single action on the FIVA interface is automatically recorded along with any change in the underlying data. So this activity history is preserved across sessions. So for example, now that I just logged in, you can see that there are some actions already on the tracker window. The analytic process is envisioned as a tree structure, with each of the action being a node, and each of the state change from one node to the next, the delta, will be the links. So at any given time, the tree always contains a critical path highlighted in red, every current actions being animated. The very current actions will be animated. So the critical path is the sequence of actions leading to the current state of the data and the tree map and bullet graph visualization that you see on the dashboards. So let's look a bit closer at a few notes and links. The activity tracker records every relevant and appropriate information associated with each new actions. So all actions are timestamped and associated with a user. But for example, a login action would not change the data or the interface in any way, so there would not be any description for that. But meanwhile, the nearby change goal action, the tool will record which client, the specific account in that client portfolio that got changed, and the retirement year, and the old and the new value of the data that this action was applied to. At any given time in the analytic process, you can also jump to another node and have the critical path leading to that node retraced and then applied to the dashboard. So this concept is simple, but it's very powerful when applied to scenario analysis, because now a scenario can be defined as simply any critical path that can be traced on the activity tracker, and there can be a huge number of permutations. Any scenario that was envisioned and tested would be automatically recorded, and scenarios can be resumed and compared in one click. So let's create a new branch of investigation from a historical node. So here, for example, we change our focus to a different client, and then we change to a different account, and then let's zoom in twice on the tree map so that we can see the yearly projection in that account. Okay, so now let's change some income. Let's say the economy got really bad. Oh well, that's too bad. I'll just have to be a little more frugal. Okay, so now everything is alright again. As you can see that any change made to the editable data columns will trigger the visualizations to recalculate the performance measure and then re-render the visualizations. So now you've made a new branch or a new scenario on the analytic history associated with these data sets. The action recording is not limited to any kind of actions or to any degree of granularity. It's only limited by the amount of integration that the activity tracker is integrated into the backend of the dashboard. So from low-level program actions to the configuration of the interface, to navigations that is relevant to the analytic processes, or to the high-level abstract data change that can be defined by the domain SME, any of these can be recorded. So for example, let's try to uncheck the box for automatic rendering settings of the interface, and then let's try to check the box to put back the configuration actions that is disabled by default. Okay, so we can see that. And now let's filter out the navigations. And okay, so another important part of examining and comparing scenarios in the analytic history is being able to download and compare the data. So let's try to download the data associated with a state on the tracker. Okay, so now the activity tracker will automatically record your action, but the problem is it cannot automatically tell which node on the action tree represents an interesting insight. And that is something that the analyst or the domain SMEs using the tool can then also write annotations or upload attachments at any point of the analytic process to mark out which point they think should be paid the most attention to. So let's try submitting a test annotations. So welcome to the Hotel California. Then let's download an attachment on another node. Okay, see, I just linked a random paper there. Finally, there are a few ideas that we could not implement in time for this demo, but are scheduled to be added to the tool soon. So one of those ideas is the compare mode, basically showing the same activity tracker but in a different way, so that whenever you click on any of these nodes, a small version of the visualizations are rendered, and you can click on multiple nodes and have those visualizations compared side by side. The hover compare is a feature that supposedly when you hover on the link, it should show the visualization states of two adjacent nodes. And other planned features including having multiple attachments and comments per actions, multiple icon type for nodes. As you can see right now, all the nodes are just circles, and they are denoted by the actual